Here with Luna. She is hiding right now. She's actually going to go live on one of our local news channels to try to get some publicity for her. She arrived as a puppy at the animal shelter. She had Demodex mange. She was covered in it, and mange is completely treatable. She was treated, and then the shelter filled up. And the shelter got a lot of dogs in a very short period of time. And I don't think I've ever seen a 6-month-old dog on an at-risk list, certainly not behavioral. If you watched earlier this week, one of the other volunteers and I did a doggy day out. We took her to the University of South Carolina. We took her down to 5 Points in Columbia, South Carolina, to a place called Gourmet Shop. Got her fat, gave her some really good treats, showed her off, had all types of stuff on her for adoption and handed out our cards, but yet she's still at the animal shelter. So we're trying to do as much as we can to get some promotion for these dogs. We just found out that Pet Finder, the website, won't allow us to link the live videos, but will allow us to link the produced videos. So if you go to Pet Finder and pull her information up, you'll see the Doggy Day Out video on there that's linked back to our YouTube channel, but it's not going to allow us to link her Facebook live, or I'm sorry, her YouTube live video on there. So I was instructed to bring her out here, waste all her energy out, and hopefully make her look really sad so somebody sees her on TV and says, I've got to have that dog. I can't let that dog leave the animal shelter any other way than being adopted. So set out to try to have her some good publicity. She is just a big bundle of joy, and she's having a blast out here. This is a much bigger enclosed area. If you follow any of our other social accounts, you will see a much smaller area, which they have several of them over there when the dogs first come out. Try to get an assessment, try to get them to feel comfortable with us before we take them out into a bigger area. But they do doggy play dates in these areas all the time. And ironically, one of the very first ones that I saw was Flower. Oh my goodness, there was about 4 different dogs that all went high risk, and 3 of the 4 high risk dogs were out here having just the time of their lives. It was dogs that we didn't think that would interact the way that they did. Not that it was a bad thing, we just didn't know that they would get along so well. But some of the people with a lot more experience have done these things before, do the behavioral trainings, make sure that they're going to be good fits, and of course we're out here monitoring just in case. But Luna she's been chasing balls for about the past half hour, so I hope that she shows really well in her TV appearance later. Check them out, Luna. And she's probably mad that I didn't bring her some more Gourmet Shop food, but I didn't realize that I was going to be working with Luna today. So hopefully once she goes adopt or foster, I'll give you guys an update on that. But one of the reasons that we chose Luna for that doggy day out was because the shelters are full. If we can get any spots open at all, if we can take a dog out in public and get it adopted while we're out, it frees up another spot. And that will certainly open the door for that type of stuff. We open up one, even if it's not high risk, it allows another one to live. And that was kind of where we changed our focus, was let's take some out, because the videos work, they certainly help market the dogs, but because of the time frames that we have, it takes so long to get them out of here, so long to produce them, record them, put music to them, tweak them a little bit, make sure that all the information is right, and then put it out there. Whereas if we did that with a dog that wasn't high risk, then you can have maybe another 3 to 6 weeks to push that video out there, push that dog out there, and then hopefully have them adopted or fostered. A lot of the rescues that we work with say that they use those videos to help them find their forever homes once they're pulled, which we're thrilled to hear that, because you can actually see what the dogs are like on the outside of the animal shelter. So, which is great. It's exactly what we want. But sometimes you need a little bit more urgency in some of the volunteer work that you do. So we're trying to figure out what our best role is to be able to get these dogs adopted and adopted quickly. Do we do doggy day outs with high-risk dogs, or do we do them with dogs that are likely or more likely to get adopted while we're out in public? We did one with Jamie and Voltaire a couple of weekends ago, a couple of weeks ago, and one of the volunteers was telling Jamie's story, and when Jamie was at high risk at the time, and was telling the story, and our waitress was like, I will go get that dog as soon as my shift gets over. We were at last table, and she followed us up to the animal shelter in order to foster the dog and definitely be the dog's adoption ambassador until the dog got adopted. And we walked back into the shelter, and there was a family that was already there with the intent of adopting Jamie. So really cool story, really cool outcome. We were wondering whether or not we were just spending too much time doing that and not enough time doing other stuff, but it seems to work. It looks like some of the other volunteers here have picked up different roles, but there's not a whole lot of video stuff here. And I think the videos, you can kind of tell from the videos, you can kind of tell what happens with the stories of the dogs when that goes through. I think I just got an indication here that about the past 3 or 4 minutes did not record for some reason. So hopefully that works. Hopefully we got that technical issue worked out. We don't have very good cell phone reception here at the shelter, but Luna will be going live on TV later. So we're trying to work some of her energy out so that she's not showing all the puppy energy live on TV, which may not be a bad thing, but I was asked just to try to get her worn out in the field, outside, exercising, jumping around, taking snacks. So hopefully this young lady will get enough publicity to get adopted today, or at least have enough people go into her page to where they find a dog that's going to be fit for their family. So we hope Luna will get the publicity that she needs and hopefully finds her way into the right family. Generally, I try to work on some of the dogs that just come in, because once they started releasing the high-risk list, many of the volunteers jump straight to that list because there's a sense of urgency at that point. But we realize that with only having about 6 to 8 weeks between the time a dog comes into the shelter and the time that it is listed as high risk, I figured one of the better roles that I could do is start publicizing some of the dogs that are brand new that we don't know anything about, and trying to get some of their information out there. You may have seen a dog named Lola. It's a 10-year-old pit bull mix. Her owner passed away. Look at this sweet girl. Look at you. Her owner passed away, and she's terrified. She's absolutely terrified of this place. And you may have seen the videos. The videos were not, produced in a way to misconstrue what was happening. Another volunteer and I pulled her out last Friday. She was fearful, but you could tell that she was incredibly stressed out. So we brought her into one of the smaller areas, not like the big area that Luna and I are running around in right now. I think she's gonna be good and tired for her TV debut. But we took her into one of the smaller areas. If you follow our Facebook page, you'll see a lot of the pictures with a bench in the background, a little bit of shaded area, and a big water bowl and toys. Those are those areas. We try to take those out first to work some of their energy out and build up a little bit of confidence that, we're here to help them. And then we bring them out into the bigger area where Luna and I are right now to let them really kind of get their zoomies out. But Lola appeared to be fearful of me, of one of the other volunteers, and you got to be careful when you're handling dogs that are fearful. You don't want to, even if the dog's not aggressive, you don't want to run the risk of getting a bite. You don't want her to go against the dog. You don't want to do anything that's going to hurt that particular dog. So we were mindful of the dog, took the dog in a bigger area, and each one of the bigger areas had gates like this. And we think that she was probably maybe a yard dog, at least at some points. And she would come up to the areas between here and here. And she's a pretty hefty dog. And she would stick her nose in between there and try to loosen the gate up and try to use her weight to push them open. She did it at all 3 entrances multiple times. So we knew that she was scared. I did take her out earlier this week. She still appears to be fearful. The trainers have not been able to do a dog test for her because of her fear level. And you don't want to stress a dog, especially a senior dog, out more than they need to be stressed. But those dog tests are going to be critical sometimes in order to finding the right adopter or foster. I have 3 senior dogs, and they don't like the crazy puppy energy. Knox, my favorite dog of all time up here, that's the reason I didn't adopt Knox fully, was he had way too much energy for the senior dogs that I had, and I had to be very mindful that while I was trying to help Knox, I still wanted to take care of my dogs properly and make sure that they weren't being too stressed out with all his crazy energy. Now, fortunately, Knox did go to a wonderful family. They keep giving me updates on him. He's doing really well. But I got that question a lot. Why didn't I just flat out adopt Knox? He wasn't the right match for my family. And if I had adopted Knox, I wouldn't be able to take in some of the fosters that I'm doing now. And, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. And I think my role in helping some of these shelter dogs is going to be doing the networking, doing the videos, doing the promotional side of it, that some people just don't know how to do, or it's just too time consuming or too technical. And fortunately, I think we've done a pretty good job in the past year trying to get some of these dogs some publicity. But that was the story of Knox, and why I ended up not adopting him. And if something happens and his family comes back and says, hey, he's too much, I will be his adoption ambassador indefinitely until we find him the right home. But I think we're going to sign off here. Looks like they're about ready to take Luna out for her major TV debut. Hopefully she's not running wild, which she didn't do. She wasn't too wild when we took her out to 5 Points in University of South Carolina a couple of days ago, running around in the rain before this tropical storm hurricane hit. So Luna, say bye to everybody, and we really hope that you get adopted, and we'll give you guys an update on what happens with Luna.